But $1.40 per mile, and like what? Okay,
Cargo
what's
van.
but what's y'all mileage on cargo vans though?
What you mean?
Like, are y'all going long distances? Are we talking
That
like
depends.
$1.40 for like a
So okay,
100-mile trip?
so typically, all right. So the longer you go, the the rate goes down. So yeah. So for me, like I used to do OTR. That's why my van is all done up and everything. But I make more money staying regional because you're putting less wear and tear, you're going less miles, and you're able to get $1.40, $1.50, $1.77 a few times I got, versus going from here to Laredo or something like that, 1,000+ miles, and you're doing that for 75 cents, 80, like it goes down.
And see, that's what I be trying to tell people. Um, Honestly, I'm saying this as delicate and as nice as possible. So I started this live. Y'all, I am with one of my in-person teachings. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's here. Y'all always up asking, do I teach men? Boom, yes I do. I don't know, I'm not sexist. I don't know why y'all ever think that. But he already owns cargo vans. So I was just basically, I'm interested because what made you make that investment, all of that good stuff. And he fell victim to the same thing a lot of other people was falling victim for. Y'all, like, come on. Look at the titles and the dates on them videos before y'all start making them investments. Because honestly, back in like 2020, 2021, cargo vans and box trucks were making a killing. I would never take that away from it. They were killing it in the game. But I explained to you why that was. It was a different situation. Well, also it was 2020, COVID. They needed that stuff moved, so it was able to be beneficial to, come on, cargo van that can only hold
Right.
7,500 pounds. Come
Yeah.
on, box truck that can only hold 10,000 pounds. Like, it's still gonna help us get stuff moved so that we don't get fined. So now that they pretty much have regulated everything, y'all going back to these rates. And I cannot believe you said that it's at like 50 cents for some of them, and these like the
Yeah.
long trips.
Yeah, like
That's robbery.
one of my dispatchers said, we have got into it a little bit because I took a little break and then I came back and I don't know how he's seen it, but I was working with somebody else and he seen that I was on loads like that I was moving around. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't work with you because you're not fighting for the rates that I really want,
And that's your
and
job.
that's out there.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go with you and this other company. Their rates are actually a little bit cheaper, like as far as the percentage wise, and they're actually able to keep me on the road, keep me moving at rates that I want. So we got into it a little bit. That one dispatcher that I had, and he sent me a screenshot like, look, I got other guys that are taking 60 and 70 cents. I said, well, that's
That's
them.
them.
I'm not moving for that. Like, I put too much money into this, and which okay, like my overhead is I don't have a truck payment and stuff like that. Like
Right.
my insurance is paid for the year or whatever.
But you just said you put 50K. That's a $50,000 investment into something that I'm pretty sure was like super hyped up when you were looking and searching the topic, and it's like, oh, we making this. Like, even the videos that are coming out like on a weekly basis of like, oh, I just made this much off of my cargo van or my box truck. I be commenting, how? Because I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm literally saying it because if there's a way that you're making that much money for real, right now, today, you need to either A, teach me how you did that, or B, teach YouTube how you did that so people will not keep going down. Like, people's companies are going down after they've made these $50,000 investments. I know some people that went off a rip and bought 3 cargo vans and had to sell all of them because they wasn't making any money. And
They're
that.
tough because you have to have, in order for you to really make it in that industry, you have to have connections with brokers. You're not getting that like just or direct shippers. I mean, if you're locally and you don't mind doing local work and getting your hands dirty a little bit, like you can make decent money if you got a direct shipper and stuff like that. But if you're just gonna hop into it and think you're gonna make, $5,000 a week and all this other stuff. I mean, that's pushing it. That's really pushing it. And I think a more realistic number is like $2,000 a week, 2,500, somewhere in there, because a lot of these people that you're moving stuff for, they don't want you to put other loads on their van. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're supposed to move a pallet for such and such company. They only want their freight on that truck.
Right.
Most of the time. So the way that these people are making the crazy kind of numbers, because I've seen people make like 4,000 pushing it, but they're not doing it. They're putting multiple, orders on.
Yeah, I heard that too.
You could get into a sticky situation where you get to you're dropping off, and let's say that they're not ready for you, or you're behind or whatever, and you have other loads on there that you have to make deliveries for on time, but you're stuck at this place.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's screwed.
For real.
So.
But that's what it's crazy. That's the same thing. I was having a conversation with a box truck owner, and he was basically saying like the only way he's staying afloat right now is because he does like multiple partial loads that go to like relatively the same areas. But he did end up in a situation where it wasn't like where somebody was late or anything like that, but one of the receivers they took something off of it that belonged to another company. So he had to like track it down, figure out what receiver took what, how to get it back. He had to literally backtrack, go pick that back up to make the delivery to the correct spot. So it's just like that, that's like a lot. That's a lot to go through when you just can get into bigger equipment. So I just be trying to tell people, like, before you go out there and make like a huge investment into a box truck or a cargo van, sprinter van, something like that, honestly, just take the time out and like stack your bread up and go buy a power only unit, because power only units right now are only like $45,000. So whether you pay $45,000 or you pay $50,000 for a cargo van, you would be better off getting the grandfathered equipment, so like you're gonna make money. And now they made it to a point where it's very convenient. You don't even have to buy a trailer because it's a trailer shortage. So what did companies start doing? Well, we have the trailers with our company name on it. It's pre-promo anyway. So it's nothing to hook up an Amazon trailer to the back of a power only unit and get it moved from point A to point B. And then the whole time you got Amazon flying all around the highway. Free promotion. So now that it's like that and they're making it so easy, I am trying to like literally mass push people. Hey, just go get your CDL and go get a power only unit. Don't even honestly, y'all, the only two companies that personally, like in my eyes, I've seen fail were companies that had horrible drivers. A horrible driver and a horrible dispatcher can literally make your company go bye-bye. I look like a nice piece of chocolate. Let me turn towards the light. Turn this way for a sec. But with that though, you have them get like the grandfather piece of equipment where they will consistently make good money. With a power only unit, you're gonna consistently be making about $7,500 to $10,000 a week off rip at the same investment of a cargo van or a box truck. It would be the same amount of money.
The only downside,
I don't understand.
I would say, the only thing is some people, now the reason why cargo vans is appealing to people is because you don't have to go out and get a CDL, and you don't have to, there's pretty much no restrictions, like as far as being on the road or how long you can drive and anything like that. So that stuff is appealing. But if I was to say, when you're adding up the money, like let's say a cargo van, maybe you make $300 a day. Realistically, you probably make $300 a day. Mm-hmm. Could you go into dispatching and make that? Yeah, or more. So, and that's what I really realized, and that's why I got with your program and stuff like that. So, it's like being on the road. It's not for everybody.
It's not. And it's just wear and tear on your body. Like, I drove box trucks for a solid week, and I crashed. Like, honestly, driving would have never been for me. I know that. Like, I crashed that box truck as soon as I got behind the wheel. So, with that being said, driving ain't for everybody. But if I was to make an investment, my investment would be power only units. And I get what you're saying. Like, don't nobody want to have to go to CDL school,
Right.
but like, yeah, it's only 4 weeks. Like, we talking 4 weeks, and you are legally able to operate a CDL equipment type. And with that, you literally are taking yourself from that $2,000 a week, price range where you're making with your Sprinter van. You're increasing that by $5,000.
That's true.
Bare minimum.
True.
So, yeah, I get it. It is more responsibility. Yeah, you got to go through a little bit more to get your CDL and, even obtain a power only unit. But, like, honestly, the benefits in the long run, you are making more and you'd be saving money doing it right the first time, because even from talking to you, this ain't, even when you get to
Sounds like a
dispatching.
horror story, right?
No. Even when you get to dispatching, I'm saying, like, I already know you might not want to admit it to it yet, but your next move, by the way you do business, from our small conversations we've had, your next move after this, you're going to go invest into a power only unit. Great, more power to you. But now you've already invested that $50K in that first one. Now you got to go invest another $50K.
Right.
So, like, you would have saved $50,000 if you would have just went to the grandfathered equipment, got your CDL, and drive your own truck. Until you can find somebody that you can really trust, I honestly feel like getting your CDL, if you are any type of carrier, until you find a reliable driver, like I'm talking somebody for a fact gonna be there, get your own CDL. Allow your business to be completely in your hands for that first couple of years until you can afford to have someone who is not consistent or unreliable. If you can't afford that off rip, don't do that off rip, because you're not going to benefit from it at all. I've seen companies literally start off great, and just two things, either a bad dispatcher or a bad driver, went completely down. So, in my opinion, I just want to spread awareness and let people know, like, yeah, they were making that amount of money. Do I think they're making it now? Who am I to judge? I don't know. But from the numbers that I'm seeing, no way in hell.
Yeah.
And I am very active with dispatching. I keep up with everything. I know so much about freight in general. Like, I love logistics. I'm kind of weird about it. So there's just no way for someone like me who reads and who knows what's going on if these people are making that amount of money. And I feel like it's doing a disservice to the masses, especially right now. We have people in desperate needs for change. Like, people just want change. People want to be able to work from home. People want freedom. People want just money to be able to go buy a pair of shoes at this point. Like, people just need, people want a couple of things right now. So I feel like these videos are preying on people. Like, you telling people, like, oh yeah, I made $50,000 off my box truck this month, and you got people scraping up their last little, like, getting money from places they can't even pay back, thinking, like, my first month, I'm gonna be straight. I'm about to be at $50K, just for them to get into it, and you barely making it. Like, I feel like it's false advertisement. I feel like we are allowing the people who make those type of videos, you are allowing someone's life to literally be, like, completely down the drain, because they still have to pay for that. Do you think that the company you rented that cargo van from and signed the contract for, or if you did a lease to own, do you think they care that you made this investment and the investment didn't pan out? No. You turn that truck back in, that's cool. You just got a voluntary repo. It's still a repossession though. So that's going to affect your ability to get a power-only unit when you realize what's really going on. So I just feel like research. Do your research.
Research, definitely. And I see a lot of, like, and most people, I was fortunate. I was blessed to be able to pay, outright, whatever.
Which is amazing.
A lot of people have truck payments, which are very expensive nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're doing the insurance monthly. So their overhead is already, and I'm seeing crazy numbers for insurance. Like,
oh, they all went up by, I said 20%. That was actually false. It's actually 23. It's like 23.6%. All insurance policies really.
People are getting quoted. Like, I've seen 16,000. I've seen 24,000
a month.
I'm like, what?
You're not gonna make that. You're not even gonna generate the income to pay insurance off of a cargo van or box truck.
That's a fact.
So, honestly, when y'all get into these situations, your best bet and I'm not just saying this because I'm a dispatcher, but like honestly, your best bet is to learn how to be a freight dispatcher first. Um, and here's why: we're the ones in control of all the money. If you don't even know how to get the money, there is no reason you should be investing into a truck right off rip. If you don't even know how to find where to find loads, if you don't know these things, there's no reason you should be looking into getting an MC number or a DOT number, because then you're at the liberty of a dispatcher, where you don't know if I know what I'm doing or not, because you don't know what you're doing either. So we could be the blind leading the blind. You don't know. So I just encourage anybody who, even if being a freight dispatcher is not what you want to do, you still need to go take a freight dispatch, a good one, mine. Take my course and learn some stuff, because you're going to need to know how to get to the money, who to talk to, and how to talk to these people. I feel like it's a whole art that goes behind freight dispatching with me. It's not just about me booking that load. Literally, I would not be as far as I am if I did not also build connections with people. If I didn't establish, like I was just telling you, when I found out that brokers only put about 10% of their loads on the major load boards and 90% go on their free load boards that are all in-house, you just have to be invited to them. And in order to be invited to them, you have to show that you're a reliable dispatcher with reliable drivers. That changed the game. Like, I told you, I only got a load board subscription to teach people how to use that one. All of my load boards are free. Like, I book directly through Swift. I'm going to book directly through Night because I've been invited to their personal load boards that are free. And 90% of all that company's loads go on there. So you can pick whatever city and state that they're going to or need to be delivered from. It's literally like a regular load board, but just for that company. But you have to be invited to these things. You have to show like you have good business ethic. And it's like stuff like that, when you get into it and you start learning like those small things, it really changes the game for you. Because I don't really sit here and have to negotiate from bare minimum from a random broker on DAT. I'm negotiating with my friend, basically, who I've been booking loads through for the last 2.5 years. And I'm like, hey, you know me, you know I'm not taking less than this, so come with the money. It changes the game as a freight dispatcher. I would not be as far as I am if I didn't build connections with people. And honestly, I said it yesterday, be good people. Like, I feel like if you're not a good person, you're not gonna have fun doing this. Because I feel like a lot of the opportunities that I've even been given was simply because they like, oh, you know what, she's a good person, and I know for a fact she's gonna stand on business, and that's what I do every time. So I feel like freight dispatching is an art. I feel like you have to be just dedicated to communicating and problem solving. If you can do those things, it's not going to be hard to find money, especially because I got a odd obsession for money. Because people got that quote wrong. You know how you hear people be like, oh, money is the root to all evil. That's literally not what the Bible says. If you go read that Bible verse, it says the lust for money is the root to all evil. And that's true. Because if you lust after money, you'll be willing to do anything. You'll rob somebody, you'll kill somebody, you'll steal from somebody. The lust for it will make you do that. But money in general does not make you do crazy things.
Preach, sister, preach.
The lust for money makes you do crazy things. So I love money. I have an obsession with it. But I love the physical aspect. I love that I know that if I get to a certain level of financial freedom, I can continue to take care of the people I love. I can continue to do the things I love. I can teach people. I can do this. So it's like, now that I learned these things about myself, it's not hard to find money. Money comes to me easily. Money comes to me quick. Like, it's not hard to find it because I've already solved the problem. I know how to freight dispatch. I know where to go look for the loads. I know, hey, I need X amount of money per load. And you can really plan it out that way. I think a lot of people get caught up on like the day-to-day actions of freight dispatching instead of thinking long-term. Why are you just planning what load y'all picking up for the day? You need to be planning what y'all week looks like. Like, you need to be planning, okay, I booked this one load, cool, let me go find them something already leaving from there. So we ain't even gotta waste no time. You going straight from delivery to this next pickup, and you know it. All of my drivers are on schedule, and we got it set up that way. Some of them are on dedicated contracts, so that was gonna be a schedule anyway. But you can still set up a schedule for somebody that's going OTR. Like, if you know for a fact they finna be delivering in Pennsylvania, go ahead and start looking for that load from Pennsylvania as soon as you book it. because there's no need to just book that load, go live your best life, and then come back to it in the morning. You already behind. You already 3 steps behind the next dispatcher that's out here trying to grind. Because really, with me, it was booking loads in advance so that I could start recruiting even more people. You can't be recruiting more carriers if you literally are on the daily dispatching. Just set up a couple of days. Like before I got to work at the point where I'm at now, I would only dispatch on like maybe a couple days out the week because I put them on advance loads. Like, hey, from Monday through Wednesday, this is what your schedule look like. By Tuesday evening, if that, by Tuesday morning, I'm already looking for the rest of the week from Thursday to Friday. You gotta like literally think ahead and plan ahead, like a straight up business, and make sure you're making the best financial decisions for these people. Make sure you're picking the best routes for these people. Like genuinely treat it as if you were the one behind the wheel. Treat it as if this is your business that is being affected if your dispatcher doesn't do well. Because if your dispatcher is only getting you the bare minimum per load, it's going to come to a point where you're going to start breaking even or losing money. It's inevitable. If you're not getting the best of the best every time, it will come a point where you are breaking even or going under. Like I said, the first job that's going to be eliminated when that carrier don't make enough money is yours. Because dispatchers aren't a necessity. They can technically learn how to dispatch themselves. Will they do that, and do they know how? Probably not, but it's a possibility. So just make life easier for everybody. Just go ahead, do the right thing, first time, every time, and like really strive to just do the best. Because the more money you make them, it's not like you losing nothing. You get more money too.
Right.
If you, instead of taking that $1,500 for a load, you negotiated for $2,000. You just took your payday from $150 to $200, and what took 15 minutes. So it's really, I don't know. I think people just need to start thinking more long term and stop taking it as like a day by day action, and like really take it as like a career. And with careers, you have to plan things. I've never seen a job where you can just go in day by day and be like, all right, so this is the plan for today and today only. Like, nah, it don't work like that. You got to set life up as if this was you working for an actual company still. Um, I feel like that's the difference between good dispatchers and great dispatchers. I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always thinking what load, will be the most beneficial for them. Not the one that's going to make them enough money for today, but how does the rest of our week look. I feel like it's about planning, communication, and just genuinely being there for them. Like, be there for your drivers. If you know for a fact, I got a driver right now, I just made him sit down. It's not his reset time at all. He really got a lot of time to go for the rest of the week, but I have made him sit down. Because, boy, you have been on go for like the last 3 weeks. Like, no breaks. The only breaks that man is taking is his mandatory reset time. I'm not, no. Take a break for your mental health. I know you got enough money. You good. Like, you can take a couple of days to just get some rest. So, like, you got to be that person. Like, you got to think for everybody as a freight dispatcher. And maybe some people don't feel that, that immense responsibility for it, but I do. I feel like I'm just here to make sure that everybody's business go around. And I feel like the more that dispatchers get into that mindset, the farther we can get. But yeah, I just wanted y'all to hear that. Because, yeah, it's a lot of false information being put out here, y'all. And like, it's just be safe out here and make the best decisions for y'all, and make sure that you are literally fighting for your drivers because their lives depend on it just like yours do. And bye. Getting back to my job.